Okay, so you set your New Year's resolutions every single year, and when you get to the end of the year, they're never achieved. The goals are never completed, and I have the reason why. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning into another YouTube video here with us today. I am so excited to be talking about aligned goal setting. So many of my clients come to me all the time saying how, I've had these one or two goals every single year for the last 2 or 3 years, and they never get achieved. I feel like I'm always spinning my wheels with goals. Why do I even bother? It's such a waste of time. It doesn't feel in alignment with me. There's a list, right? I don't know if anyone resonates with that. If so, in the comments, let me know. This is what I get a lot with my clients personally. So with that being said, and what I start coaching into is, are your goals in alignment with you and your future version of yourself? Okay. So what is aligned goal setting? I'll tell you what it's not, and what most of us get in the habit of doing. They create goals based on societal standards, based on what everyone's doing or what everyone's done or what everyone is talking about. Examples are the basics of, I want to make more money and I want to lose weight, right? We always have these goals in the new year. We're like, this is the year where I'm going to kick ass and take names and do all the things, right? And then, I don't know, March comes around, April comes around, it starts getting warmer out and the sun starts shining more. And we're like, I don't know, that hard work, it's kind of boring and I don't really like doing that. And I get to do all this other stuff now that I'm out here, outside. And I don't know if any of that resonates with you guys. I can tell you, me, many years ago, that is what my thought traps were. That's where I kept getting caught in the same ruts of not achieving my goals. I would quit way in advance, thinking that it just wasn't meant for me. It wasn't supposed to be achieved since it had been that way year after year after year. So with aligned goal setting, we really focus on reflecting on our values and having this clarity of our future version of ourselves. Why is this important? So reflecting on our values. And for those who haven't watched Intentions versus Goals, I'm sure there will be a video or something that pops up. We kind of really spoke into the difference between intentions versus goals. Today, we're going to focus on just goals, not really intentions, but we will be speaking into it. If you want to get a recap of what the difference is between the two, feel free to check out the video of that wherever it pulls up here somewhere. So with that, what's important to you? And what's interesting with this question is we might say, our family is very important to us, right? Or, my physical health is very important to me. Or, providing value to my clients is very important to me, right? But then the next question I put that up against is how? How is that showing up in your life now? How are you showing that your values, your priorities are of your family, are of your physical health, are of providing value to your clients? If you're spending most of your time on your cell phone while you're with family and friends, is that really a value of yours? Or, my physical fitness, but are you eating shitty food and you maybe move your body maybe once a week if you're hanging out with friends and going for a walk or something? Providing value to your clients. Never ever do I recommend staying up late at night, sending emails and everything. But if a client asks a question, are you going just that further step in making sure they have all the answers provided for them? Those are just small examples of really not necessarily questioning your values, but making sure they're actually showing up in your life. And I'll tell you from personal experience, I had values. I did want to be more physically fit. I did want to provide better value to my clients. I did want to connect more with my family, but my actions were not showing that. And with that realization, I totally shifted gears, because here's the thing, we can always set goals for something, but if it's not a true desire of ours, we don't know our intentions behind why we're doing what we're doing, we're never going to get there, right? Because we don't see that bigger picture. So that is why it's so important to reflect on your values first before starting to set your goals. You need to know what's a priority to you. And I'm not saying that just because you have, you have a value of your family and you don't spend as much time as you want to with them, it doesn't mean that it's still not a value. It's more of asking those questions. It's more of just a way to, do an audit on where you're spending your time. Another thing that's really important to know, to visualize before setting your aligned goals, is having this clarity on that future version of yourself. And again, if you're unsure of the difference between intentions and versus goals, feel free to check out the intentions versus goals as a video. But we spoke into, when you can visualize that next version of yourself, you're really able to see where you're going, right? So if you are, let's say I'm a coach and I my future version of myself has 100 clients, okay? I just made that number up as an example. Well, I know if I have 10 clients now, I know where I'm going, right? And what I'm doing. So then I'm able to better see that gap, right? Of where I am, where I'm wanting to go. And then we can start incorporating goals to get you closer to that next version of yourself. And maybe that is a 5-year or 10-year goal, but we can still reverse engineer that goal and say, okay, well, what can I do this year? What would be a good goal this year that gets me a step closer next year, right? So the process of setting goals that are in harmony with your values and aspirations are so important. Why? Because they contribute to your fulfillment. And this is super important. I witness so many of my clients when they first come to me are full of anxiety, or they have depression, or which I'm not a therapist, by the way. So I guess I should say more of they have depressive thoughts, but more in the realm of their business, where they're like, why do I have this business? I don't feel like I'm providing the gifts that I can to the world. I feel behind, all these thoughts, right? Well, when you can start taking action toward that next version of yourself, which is what you do when you start creating aligned goal setting, then you start feeling more fulfilled because you're taking action out of why you're here on this earth, to share your gifts with the world, which is so important in my eyes because there is only one of you. There's only one of me. And when we continue to play it small, we're really just hurting the world because we're here to contribute our gifts to the world. And there's some of you that may be thinking, well, geez, I don't know what my gifts are. And that means you haven't played around enough yet. And that is a topic for another video, guys. But start playing around with, wow, if I could do anything I wanted, what would it be? Why do I want to do that specific thing? Maybe there's actually little specific parts of this bigger thing, and that's what I actually want to do. So pulling all of these things is super, super important. Creating aligned goals, it prioritizes you. It doesn't prioritize what your parents want, what your partner wants, It doesn't prioritize your kids, your fur babies. It doesn't prioritize your conditioning, your societal beliefs or societal expectations rather. It prioritizes you, what you desire. And this is so important because, like I said before, this is what makes us different. When we can start getting closer to that next highest version of ourselves, we can start sharing our gifts with the world. We'll start feeling more fulfilled. We'll start being happier because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So focusing, aligned goal setting focuses on matters that matter the most to you. So when you are doing aligned goal setting, not just pulling goals out of your ass, right? Oh, this is what Sally Joe is doing and maybe I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to copy hers, right? That's not the vibe what we're going for. This is us connecting with our deeper selves. This is us really sitting down, taking some time and writing out our deepest goals, what we really want to do in this lifetime that we have. So not only are aligned goal settings more fulfilling, you're more likely to achieve them. Why? Because you're intrinsically motivated. You know your intentions, you know your why, you know the bigger picture of why you're setting these goals. And this essentially starts resonating with that authentic version of yourself. The more aligned goal setting you create, the more you start living in that authentic version of yourself, which is like just so beautiful to witness inside yourself when you're like, wow, I don't really give a shit of what other people think anymore. We're like, wow, I did this one thing with confidence in the past. I would, not speak up, right? Those are just some examples. But it's so fun when you start becoming that next version of yourself, which is presumably that more authentic version of yourself. The other thing I want to leave you guys with is make sure you guys are reviewing your goals regularly. So sometimes halfway through the year, we witness ourselves not taking action out of a specific goal. And sometimes it may be us trying to quit. We're like, oh, it's starting to get uncomfortable. I don't really care about this anymore. Like, sound effects are required. Then that is a cue to yourself where you can revisit that intention. Is this still in alignment with me? Is this still what I want to do? If the answer is yes, and that goal still feels in alignment with you, then you gotta get right back up and keep going toward it. That is a cue to your brain that there is some mindset work to be done there, but it doesn't mean that the goal is wrong. Something that I learned that really propelled my progress forward was realizing that I don't have to be comfortable and I don't have to be happy doing my to-do list. And this was something that really just propelled my mindset forward, is because I always thought, oh, well, if I'm working on this activity, if I'm doing my podcast or my YouTube, I have to be happy. I have to be comfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I have to be perfect, know exactly everything that I want to say. And if I'm not that way, then that means something's wrong with me and it's not meant to be. That's not the case. You have this goal. It's in alignment with you. Why is it a goal? It's because it's propelling you forward, right? It's getting you to that next version of yourself. That shit's hard. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. And our brains are literally wired. They've literally evolved they're really not evolved. I won't go into that part of it. But our brains like they still have this, oh my God, a tiger's coming after me feeling in their inside, right? So when you're going in something uncomfortable, our brain's like, uh-oh, danger, danger. We're getting into an unsafe territory. We don't know the future. We don't know the outcome. And if the unknown, like the unknown's scary and dangerous and you could die, that's literally what our brain is telling us every time we go to do a YouTube video. It's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die. It's not the case, guys. Your brain saying, oh my gosh, this is uncomfortable. This is, I don't feel great joy when I'm doing this, is just its way of trying to keep you safe. As simple as that. And we don't need to judge ourselves or our brains on that, right? We can essentially just become aware of that, witness that, and say, you know what? Thank you so much, brain. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. I appreciate it. But in this moment, I'm going to override and do it anyways. Because this is my next version of myself. This is my goals. That higher version of myself, they would do this. They would create the YouTube video. They would send those emails. They would meet with those clients. They would go to that gym. Examples, right? So we evolve, and so do our goals. So that flip side of this is maybe you do look back and say, actually, you know what? This isn't really in alignment with me anymore. That's also totally okay, because we also evolve. That higher version of ourselves, the more we take action toward her, we realize, we witness that, hey, I'm actually, before it was a little blurry and I started going this way, but now I start seeing her clearly and we need to kind of alter the direction a little bit. That's totally okay. And with that, we can then readjust those goals. I'll give you an example. I had a weight goal, and I realized as I was getting closer to this weight goal, I got to a weight and I realized I kept doing all the right things, but I was pretty stagnant. I wasn't changing, at least on the scale, right? But then I did an in-body scan, realizing that my body fat percentage dropped drastically. My body had been changing that entire time, guys, but on the scale, it said I was the same. So with that, it totally shifted my mindset from, losing weight in the sense of a number on a scale to, okay, I just want to change my goal from a number on the scale to a body fat percentage, because my body likes to be at the weight that the scale shows. That is what it's shown month after month as I continue to build muscle and lose weight. It just likes that number, right? So I switched my goal, instead of a number on a scale, to a body fat percentage, and now I'm able to actually start making increments closer to my goal in that reframe, that newly evolved aligned goal, essentially. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. I know that was just a very specific example of a shift in a goal. What do you guys think about this? Setting aligned goals. Is this something you guys have ever heard of before? What do you guys do currently? Upcoming, I am going to actually be doing my 2024 goals with you guys. So you guys will witness me sitting right here and talking through my goal setting, my process, and you guys can do it with me too. So feel free to check out Come Set 2024 Goals with me. Check out that video and have fun, guys.